of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, The World Ends With You is back, but not in the way you probably thought it would be. Before anyone gets ahead of themselves, a new World Ends With You game was not announced, but a collaboration with a very curious game and new IP called Reynatis has been officially announced. Now, the funny thing about this, these cheeky fellas, is on April Fool's Day, they dropped this artwork and kind of played a joke that a collaboration was happening between Reynatis and The World Ends With You. Now, the reason why this is so peculiar and interesting is, for those who don't know, Reynatis not only bears a lot of resemblance to Final Fantasy Versus 13, and you could see a little bit of that when browsing the website, watching the trailers, but what's also peculiar about it is that Kazushige Nojima, who, as we know, is an accredited writer for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, is working and writing for Reynatis, which is not a Square Enix title or IP. So when you put all that together, again, Nojima, who's written for Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, being on the project, Reynatis bearing a lot of resemblance to Final Fantasy Versus 13, and Reynatis not being an IP that belongs to Square Enix, kind of threw everybody's heads, including mine, for a loop. But things are starting to make a little bit more sense now. So without further ado, let me pull up the trailer. Let's pull up the trailer. 1 second. So you can take note of it going on here in the background. Again, right from the start, you see the noise. A lot of World Ends With You influence. Obviously, the 104, the Shibuya crosswalk. The similarities were always there. And it, again, threw people for a loop. But with the trailer that they dropped here today, which doesn't appear to be, there's Shoka, right? There she is. Let's pause right there for a minute. This isn't necessarily, from what I gather, and we'll pull up a post from them in just a minute, this isn't part of the main plot of Reynatis, but rather this seems to be some sort of alternate route, maybe a DLC, maybe just a side story that can be done alongside Reynatis that collaborates with The World Ends With You. And, Square Enix has made announcements lately that they're going to cut back, if not outright cut out, smaller IPs and really focus on their bigger IPs. World Ends With You fans like myself wondered, is that a death sentence for The World Ends With You? And it's very refreshing days after that announcement to see The World Ends With You being collaborated with an IP outside of Square Enix. So a lot of people whose eyes otherwise may not have been on The World Ends With You are now going to get a little bit of a taste of that glorious adventure in Shibuya. But anyway, let me keep the trailer rolling here. Let me maybe turn it down a little bit more. But again, you see the overlap with Yozora. You see the overlap with Versus 13. Shibuya makes you think of World Ends With You. Final Fantasy Versus 13. And Kingdom Hearts for all you Kingdom Hearts fans out there. So the question becomes, and I don't know if you caught that ending right there. Let me get a good pause on it. That's our man Rindo. Shout out to Paul Castro Jr., one of the best voice actors in the game. But that's our man Rindo right there. So, very exciting stuff. Again, it doesn't appear to be part of the base plot of Reynatis. Rather, this is a clear collaboration where the two stories and characters are going to collide for a fun little event or side story that takes place within the story of Reynatis. And of course, we got a release date here, July 25th, available on Switch, PS5, and PS4. But let's move on. Here's a little announcement from them as well. It says, does the noise of the second trailer make sense now? That's right, we've transcended company boundaries to make this exciting collaboration happen. And surprises don't just end on April Fools. Marin and the others acquire Reaper pins and become participants in a strange game. What will happen? Find out in the new Shibuya storyline exclusive to Reynatis. Please look forward to the fate of Marin and Shoka with excitement. And again, Nintendo Life, just to back up my claims and back up my sources here, they put out an article discussing how Kazushige Nojima, I didn't even mention this, and Yoko Shimomura are teaming up on this particular project. So, everybody saw the overlap with Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and people were wondering how far that would go. And now seeing the World Ends With You characters being in a collaboration with Reynatis, who knows where this is going? So again, we got some really exciting stuff here. It's good to see the World Ends With You IP is alive and well in whatever way it manifests into the gaming industry. I'm glad that it's still around, making some noise, no pun intended. But anyway, this is, to me, this is really cool stuff. Like, it's something completely out of left field. I don't think I would have ever imagined another company collaborating with Square Enix on their IP quite like this. Obviously, Square Enix has been very open about collaborating their IPs with other companies. You know, you see it with Bandai Namco, with Soul Calibur and Tekken. You know, you see it with a lot of mobile game integration. You know, like TWEWY's been a guest everywhere. But yeah, overall, this is just very exciting stuff. I'm very happy about it. I want to know your thoughts. Does this have you sold on Reynatis? I was kind of on the fence. I like Nojima's work. I like Shimamura's work. But I was kind of on the fence about this game. But at the end of the day, if it's a game that's going to help the World Ends With You IP flourish, I suppose taking a chance on Reynatis may not be the worst decision that I can make as a consumer. But anyway, all of you, I'm really curious what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think of this announcement. Does this have you excited? Does this have you all in on Reynatis? Do let me know. I will leave links to the trailers if you're curious about Reynatis and you haven't heard much about it. I'll have links to the trailers in the YouTube description if that's where you're viewing this. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please feel free to share your thoughts. We've got a Final Fantasy video dropping tomorrow, as well as a Kingdom Hearts podcast on the way. So a lot of stuff happening here at the Lodge. And yeah, you all be good out there. Be good to yourselves and each other. And I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key.